Okay, hello everyone. I think I am live and ready to go here. I was anxiously awaiting for that 1 o'clock time frame. So welcome. My name is James Giglio. I am the founder of MVP Interactive. I've been a part of AO for about a year now. I have become a mentor this past March. I'm really excited about that. So this is my very first session here. And truth be told, when the calendar invite came over, I thought I was getting a one-on-one mentoring session with Sean today, but no, I'm actually hosting one. So I was able to quickly look at the questions that came in this morning. So I will do my best to address them as thoroughly and as detailed as possible. And I hope to bring any level of value to members here and to provide any insights. So without further ado here, I'll just get right into the very first question from Gabor. The question they asked, what are some quick wins I can implement to increase our bottom line profitability, and how should I go about doing this in the long term? The business description and background of the question. Throughout the past 2 years, I've been focused on growing our top line revenue. And this year we're on track to hit 1 million in sales. Congratulations. Soon you'll be on the other end of this video. We've been profitable all the way, but I feel there's probably a lot of waste we could eliminate. Normally, I'm the sales guy, not the savings guy. So I'm not sure how to get started, as well as how to make constant awareness of our bottom line as an integral part of how we do business. We currently have a full-time accountant who can get me any reports I need. Well, first of all, congratulations on getting close to $1 million or looking to exceed that. That is no simple feat, as we know, but you're in the right group of hands to continue to grow and get there. The first thing that jumped out on me was the full-time accountant. That is fantastic that you're able to employ a full-time staff accountant, whether they're a CPA. Not sure what their day-to-day responsibilities are, but you may want to reevaluate potentially that cost and what that relationship looks like. So when I had first started out, I obviously, like most entrepreneurs, got real quick with learning QuickBooks, right? And so handling some of those day-to-day activities, I realized that's not something that I should be doing on a consistent basis. So I had hired a part-time CPA or bookkeeper that we were able to break out very clear roles and responsibilities to keep the billables down. And as the company grew, you can kind of ramp up and allocate the dollars to where they should be better spent at the stage of your company. So again, I'm sure they're a great accountant. I don't know the cost. I'm making assumptions that it warrants a pretty significant salary, but you may want to look into that. Just a suggestion. Another thing to take a look at is your reoccurring expenses. Seeing things in black and white is very helpful. And you may be working on some internal IT platforms or programs or even subscription services that you've forgotten about. And so the great thing with businesses focused around subscription models is a lot of their customers sometimes forget they're a part of them. And then so the meter constantly runs each month. And so you may want to take a look at that to make sure that you're not missing anything, because although a 12, a 15, a 30, maybe $100 fee a month doesn't sound a lot, it does certainly add up. So I would consider that. The third thing is, if you are working with an accountant, and as you mentioned, they can do any reports, something at a little higher level detailed, if you can break out your P&L and really get granular with your weekly, monthly, and quarterly sprints in terms of how you plan your budget, you'll be able to really see each line item of where the dollars are going. And then it'll also help you forecast your future to kind of help with your cash flow. Not a direct related to your question per se in terms of where your cash flow outlook is to be. But it really, for me, seeing things in black and white is always very helpful. And so when you have that report in front of you, it's going to help identify what reoccurring costs you have that you may have forgotten about, kind of Gantt out, what your growth could look like, and give you a bit of a purview of what the future looks like in terms of your cash flow as well. So same thing as my suggestion with your part-time accountant. Not sure what your sales staff looks like. if they are 100% commission, what their salary or their base looks like. But for us this year, as you can imagine, I didn't tell anyone about my company. I probably should have done that, but we're an experiential technology company that develops a range of technology for consumer engagement experiences in and around live events, including sports. So as you can imagine, a COVID year like this had put a real damper on some of our business. And so I had to have a very difficult conversation with our sales team to readjust comp plans. And so the way we did that was really fine tune what the commissions were versus the base salaries to kind of help bridge the gap of dry periods, if you will, in terms of where business was or wasn't going at that point. So you may want to look at your staff to see if there's any adjustments that could be made appropriately. I mean, you certainly don't want to make adjustments if they're not warranted, but just a suggestion to just kind of take a holistic look at where your expenses are on that end. So the second question comes in from Robin. Question they asked, time management. What time management system or process do you use and why? The business description and background of the question, I want to be as productive as I can be, and I know there is software and good old-fashioned day planners. What are you using today to stay efficient and manage your time? Thanks so much. Personally, I generally run two systems. So I live and die by my Google Calendar. My entire business generally runs on G Suite. So all of our general admin email, documentation, slides, spreadsheets, documents, presentations, they all live on Google. And so Google Calendar provides a really live date look of what your tasks and responsibilities are going to be. A strategy that I use with Google Calendar is making sure that I block out tranches of time throughout the week. And so that really helps me stay focused on a particular task. So Mondays, for example, I have a lot of one-on-one mentoring sessions or one-on-one calls with my team. Tuesday, I may carve out a couple of hours for sales. Wednesdays, carve out another block of time for accounting or operations and things of that nature. And so Google Calendar for me has been really, really helpful. And I make sure on Sunday night, as best as I can, try to plan for the week. Sunday nights are good because it kind of gets your head in the game. Not that your head is ever out of it. As an entrepreneur, you're always thinking about your business and you want to make sure that you never stop thinking about your business, right? And so, but Sunday night is a good way to kind of take a look at your calendar, the things, your goals you want to accomplish, and go ahead and put those into your Google Calendar, send out any notifications, and everything syncs. And so that works out really well. On the sales and marketing side of things, I use HubSpot as well. And of course, the two integrate. So G Suite and HubSpot, they link together. So any update that shows up in one calendar will automatically sync to another. I can also set up much like a Calendly. So I can send invites for my calendar through HubSpot that links directly to the Google Calendar as well. So that's, nothing more magical than that. It's, as you mentioned, there is a lot of software, there are a lot of options out there, but you don't have to overcomplicate it as long as you really maintain the work ethic and stick to your responsibilities and where you put them is really the most important thing. So let's go to the next question from Sarah. The question they asked is, how do I build loyalty with my team? Good question. Business description and background of the question, I own a female-run and operated barbershop, male clients, and over the years, I have had countless barbers screw me over in all kinds of areas. The way they talk to me, the way they won't follow processes, they've quit on me, and I can't seem to find a solution on this. This industry is very unique, and I am looking for any and all ideas to make sure that I am being the right leader to keep people and grow. How do I know if I'm the problem and if I'm not doing my job right, or is it just people will be people? This is a very, very big challenge, and I am very proud of you because one of the first things that you really want to identify as a leader is self-awareness, right? And with that self-awareness, you can determine what type of leader you are. And then you can kind of take a look at those characteristics as who you identify with as a leader, and you may have strengths and weaknesses, right? And it sounds like in this situation, and I'm sorry to hear that this seems to be a misogynistic environment, but if there is a scenario where, say you are a more laissez-faire type leader or friendly leader, you may need to exhibit a little bit more assertiveness, or at least understand that that is a missing piece. And so if it's not you that are comfortable with acting that role, maybe you can find a solution or a person that can kind of help enforce that, right? I think a lot of companies, the role of a COO, if you will kind of mandate, the directive of a CEO to make sure that people are falling in line and really adjusting to what the vision is. And because in a small business, as you are, you have to wear many hats, and you have to, certainly be part psychologist with your employees and understand the nuances of dealing with people. But I think the biggest thing is to really have the self-awareness, identify your strengths and weaknesses as a leader, and then really fine-tune, who you can lean on and or what you can do to sort of make your voice heard. And it sounds like assertiveness could be part of that. So that would be my suggestion there. In terms of other loyalty, personally, I believe in full-blown honest transparency, and having an emotional intelligence to be transparent, to really get in front of your team and disclose that there are no surprises, and to have a level of authority and a level of excellence that you demand out of everyone will immediately be sort of bought into with how honest and open you are. And so with that, you can also create incentive programs. Something that I say in my organization is that we win together and we lose together, and this team environment. And so the way that we win together is I make sure that there are incentives to any deal flow that converts into a sale, for example, that based on your roles and responsibility, there's a small piece of whether it's a commission or reward that shows and appreciate the job well done, as that we sort of collaborated and we got through the project. So think about what could make sense from an incentivization standpoint. And maybe it's a monthly goal, a weekly goal, maybe it's just a behavior goal as well, that, these rewards are made, they're tied to incentives, and they're announced, and so it's disclosed as a transparent exercise. And so I do appreciate the challenge here. It's one that you constantly will grow as a leader, and sort of learn from your pasts, the mistakes, and really identify what your culture and your values are. And so when you look to hire a new person, you can really mandate if they fall in line to your vision and your culture and what your values are before you even hire them. And so again, we're all trying to refine this. I've been in business about 8 years now, and I'm still learning to get better at that. All right, so the next question comes from Dan. What is the best way to get a customer to follow through with leaving a review? So the business description and background of the question: when finished with a deck or project, I buy my homeowners a nice bottle of wine, $55 to $120. You can build my deck with that for sure. That sounds fantastic, and I appreciate, I'm sure you can get a reference from Tom Black. I asked them to leave me a review on platforms, but it does not happen. The current projects I'm doing are anywhere from 15K to 65K price range. Well, good on you. I think that's client appreciation is certainly valued. One of the strategies that I've implemented in the past, and I work with large corporate brands, professional sports teams, and Fortune 500 companies. So the individuals that I work with, whether they're a marketer, a junior level marketer, all the way up to a CMO, you have to respect their time and what the ask or the exchange you're looking for. So one of the things or strategies that I look to is, how do you make it easy for them? So what we've done in the past is write the review ourselves, and you simply get a confirmation in terms of, hey, would you be okay if I put this quote on our website or use this in our presentation? I've written it out for you. If you have any changes, please feel free to make them. So generally 9 times out of 10, great. They didn't have to do anything. You took the responsibility right off their plate, and you got what you exactly wanted. And then in terms of leveraging technology to kind of reward these clients. There's a great website and service called Thanks, but it's spelled THNKS.com. And so it's a gift platform, but it has a back end draw to it where you can exchange information. So you can give cups of coffee, wine, or something a little bit more extravagant, but there's an exchange, right? So you can send the link, you can ask them to write the review, click review, and then they are sort of revealed with this gift. And then there's back-end dashboard that can actually track who's opening that email, if they converted the gift card, and if actually they filled out a review. So take a look at that. It's actually something I wanted to mention to Sean as well, because I think they're located in the greater Nashville area. So it could be a great program that we all utilize on. So we just signed up for it and it's been pretty effective. So just to recap, write the review yourselves, just ask for approval, and then lean on technology like a platform like Thanks to see if you can barter that relationship a little bit. All right, the next question is coming in from Nancy. Should I keep my 6-month emergency fund completely, or should I use some of it to invest in starting my business? The description and background of the question is: I have no debts, recently completed my 6 months emergency fund. I have $2,000 spare to invest in kicking off my jewelry business, for which I need to do so much. I can probably bootstrap, but not sure if I will quickly need more, therefore will need to use the emergency fund. Well, listen, I don't have to tell you that something that you probably don't already know, and it's certainly preached here, is having an emergency fund is always a good idea, and it's something that we should always try to maintain some level of funds, right? However, with your business, any additional dollars that you have should definitely go into launching and starting that business and making the investments that are needed to get that going for you. So I think it's going to do a couple of things, right? So not only is it going to get you to that first step of whether creating your product or getting you to a place of closer to be able to sell your product, it's going to show commitment to those of you around and those of you who are selling, in that you've put your own money into it. If it's a scenario that you will need to seek additional funds, whether it's friends or family or something along those lines, they're showing that you've actually put your money where your mouth is, right? And you're moving forward with it. So, and then obviously sales is going to be the best way. Sales cures everything. And so just think about strategies on using that money to get you closer to a sale, right? And whatever that looks like, if that means having the product, or if it means investing into some type of marketing or presentation, I can't decide that for you, but just think about what's going to get you closer to a sale, because essentially that's what's going to grow your business and driving those revenues. All right, Jake, next question from Jake Carlisle. How to overcome feeling overwhelmed. The background and the description of the question: he real estate flips, Airbnb rentals. He's a full-time student, and I also manage my business as well as all of my personal investments. It's very stressful, and sometimes I feel like I'm not doing enough. Well, again, this is a scenario this is why you're a part of such the great group, right? We all struggle with this. We've all felt overwhelmed. And I think the important thing to realize is you're taking the first step in having a community around you that not only can relate to what you're going through, but then can also make suggestions. So one of the strategies that I try to use to avoid, especially in the early days where you are doing everything, is to really set your tasks lists in small digestible buckets where, they may seem like, 1,000 trees in the forest, but if you take a look at just one of the tasks and you make it a manageable chunk, you'll be able to just slowly over time go ahead and check those tasks off. Now, that may not help with your overall sense of, urgency, but it will help kind of, acknowledge that you're taking the right steps and you're actually going through those tasks. Another, as I mentioned earlier, a great strategy is get a mentor. Definitely voice this feeling, this emotion out to someone who can not only just listen to you, but then also, within fine detail, help you within your business to kind of point you in the right direction. So, and then obviously, you want to do healthy things, maintain healthy habits. Working out is a great stress relief. That's stating the obvious here. What you don't want to do is to get into bad habits when you're feeling overwhelmed, whether that's drinking or eating too much, because that just compounds the issue. So, I just make sure that you maintain a positive attitude, take the small baby steps, get through your lists. And trust me, you're based on what you had wrote, you are doing enough. You're doing plenty, and you're far further along than most people. So just try to put one foot in front of the others and get through your task list, and make sure you're just taking the right steps forward. All right, next question is coming in from Zach. How do you start a training program for employees? What are the bare bones structure needed for a successful program? Well, background description and of the business is my company, Diamond State Technology, specializes in working with access control cameras, automation, and security systems for both residential and commercial applications. The reason why I'm asking this question is I'm growing rapidly and I need guidance on how to build a 6-month training program for my technicians. Thank you, mentors, for your valuable and irreplaceable knowledge. Well, if I only could provide you valuable information to you, Zach, I'll try. But this is pretty relevant as well, because I had actually reached out to the group learning about Trainial. Trainial is a great platform that allows for new businesses and even existing businesses to create exactly what you're looking for, these training systems. And they can kind of cover across any level of your business, whether it's onboarding a new employee, if you want to have your company manual, and then specialized trainings for each of your requirements that make sense for your business. And so it's a blend of documentation. You can post videos, so you can really document what this 6-month training looks for. I haven't used the platform just yet. I was early into my discovery and searching for the right platform. Ultimately, what I've done in the past as well, if that's not an investment that you want to make thus far, again, as I mentioned, I use Google and G Suite. So I've compiled all of my documentation, my manuals in the Google Drive on a spreadsheet or on Google Documents. And then you can compile that into a presentation and create links right in your Google Slides. And so even though you're sending one presentation, the links will drive to the specific documentation that's sitting on your Google Drive to open up another document. So, you don't have to have a, 30-page presentation. You can actually have these links just living on a few pages, and but all the information is there. But I think videos are great. Even Sean posting how to activate the live Facebook, he did a Loom video, which was just a screen record of him telling you how to launch your camera and so forth. And so there's a lot of services, but from what I've been able to find thus far, Trainial seems to be the best. And I believe there's a discount code with AO members, so you may want to take advantage of that. All right, next question, Megan. What strategies do you use to build your network? I work with companies to help them maintain their season tickets to concert venues, sports teams, etc. Megan, it's nice to be in the same industry as someone in the group here. I am very active on LinkedIn and in-person networking events prior to COVID, but looking for new options to add in. I am looking for ways you use networking groups or associations to develop more relationships or get even more buy-in with larger customers. Great question. Not too long ago, I had mentioned I'm moving offices. So behind me, there's an empty office. I'm waiting for a contractor to come here, but I was packing my old office and I discovered all the business cards that I had collected over the years of conferences and business meetings. And it was a great memorial of what it takes and what it means to network, just shaking hands, meeting strangers. As a new business, it's so exciting. It was something that I really enjoyed doing. And I feel you with COVID no longer allowing us to kind of interact that way. It's been very frustrating. However, there is no shortage of Zoom calls, online platforms, and conferences that you can attend. I know that you and I speak the same language in terms of industry, being in professional sports and sponsorship, but I've been a part of panel presentations for National Sports Forum, the Sports Entertainment Alliance of Technology, ALSD. So they're constantly trying to do these weekly panels, so you can email and try to connect with those folks to see if you can even just gain access to view those networking events or even participate. Another thing that we've done in the past is just create our own. So if you have clients or have worked with a client, just ask them to say, hey, I'm looking to host this webinar or maybe a podcast. Would you be interested? So, you know, it's a way of not only marketing your business, getting out there. You may not be networking to a mass of people, you know, intimately, but, you know, with things living online, you never know what can come around full circle. So we've done that as well. The other thing is to look for specialized associations for your industry. So one of the associations that I had joined recently was the AR/VR Association of Los Angeles. I don't, you know, we're based in Philadelphia, but we have done work in Los Angeles. We're very specialized in augmented reality and VR. So I joined that chapter, and they're constantly putting out content each month. I look to participate in each of the webinars or whatever the panel discussions may be. And so look for regional and/or professional chapters of an association and just try to get involved there. So that's something that I've been able to do over the last couple of months. All right, next question, Joe. Good old Joe. Joe the Home Pro, I know that. All right, question they ask, what do you suggest as far as paying independent contractors who I contract to help me facilitate providing my services to my customers? Business description and background of questions. I own a home inspection business and I am turning away 5 to 8 inspections a week. It's a lot of money, Joe. I'm looking to partner with another inspection company, solopreneur, who is not as busy so I can make more money while working less. How do I do the billing? Collect from the clients and to the other inspection company, have them collect the time, have them send me a check. All right, that's convoluted, Joe. I am not an expert in paying Peter to take Peter to pay Paul, but what I would suggest is leveraging technology like an Autobooks, a PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, etc. I don't think that entirely answers your question in terms of how you transact between 3 parties, but if you're paying 1099 contractors, PayPal's been a great service for us. It documents, you can generate an invoice, they're automatic, you can do wires, you can do credit cards, and so you can have them sign up for an account and you can transact directly to them, and it's all documented. Just make sure that you collect W-9s before you pay anyone, because you do not want to be chasing people down when it comes to tax season, looking for their W-9 so they can file their taxes. So make sure you do that first before you pay anyone. Just collect that documentation. But not an expert in that, so I do apologize if I didn't bring any value there. But again, PayPal, Venmo, Cash App, something along those lines that can really track the transactions. All right, so next question is from Sanal. Question they asked: if you have some extra cash in business, what would be your next move to grow the business? Background on question: I'm in title searching business. We provide B2B services. Our clients are title insurance companies. Well, Sanal, that's only a question that really you can answer, but my suggestion would be, what is it that your business needs in that moment to help you grow, whether that be an employee, whether that be software, whether that be some other IT infrastructure to kind of help facilitate your business, or what's going to get you to that next sale, or what's going to earn you more money. So any extra money, your first inclination is you're going to want to put it in your pocket. There's a time and a place for that. I think early on, what you definitely want to do is continue to reinvest in your business. So before you're really, lining your pockets, we'll all get there one day, but look at ways that you can reinvest in your business and what's going to help you find a return on that investment. And again, it could be an employee, it could be software, it could be marketing. I don't know, but if you take the approach of what can I spend for it to return, that's a pretty good philosophy when you're looking to put money into the business. So just try to avoid from taking too much for your pockets at that stage. Just continue to put it back into the business. All right, Cheston, next question. How can I get better at finding, hiring, engaging resources, people to help me carry my vision forward so I can finally get out of the business of doing everything for the business? Background on the question, I'm trying to build a SaaS platform while trying to keep my existing digital marketing agency afloat just enough to continue generating the monthly revenue I need. I want to get to a point I can either completely offload the digital marketing work or engage others to help build out my SaaS vision. How can I get better at finding, evaluating, delegating the work that needs to be done? I find myself stuck. You are speaking my language. I certainly understand and empathize with what you're going through, and hiring the right talent is very, very difficult. You know, there's this adage in baseball where 3 out of 10 and you're in the Hall of Fame. And sometimes I feel like hiring is the same way, right? It's such a nuanced thing, and you never really know what you're going to get when you bring on a new employee. But there are processes and policies that you can really institute early on in your search to help refine, to help make you make better decisions and attract better talent. But I think the first thing that you really need to evaluate is to identify a clear vision of your values for yourself and your business, what your culture index would look like, what's an ideal candidate. Really document that down so when you are posting online, your vision is very clear, your values are clear, and that's going to attract, it should attract the talent that can speak to that or have it resonate. Hey, this seems like a great organization that I could be a part of because I share these principles. And so there's many things from an HR standpoint too that you can lean on with personality tests and making sure that during your onboarding that you're really getting an understanding of who you're working with, because ultimately a team is going to get you out of that environment of being stuck and feeling that you need to do everything, because that's not scalable. And I still struggle with that. And so this is actually the last question, but I can leave you with a very relevant story on how I'm still dealing with this and making sure that you have the right talent. So there was a situation this past week at my organization where we had an opportunity to close on a substantial deal with a new client that we had gone through all of the objections that you have when sourcing a sale, and the needs assessment was accomplished. We had no budget objection. We were at the finish line, and so ultimately and unfortunately, the client decided that they weren't going to move forward with us, and it was extremely disappointing because they didn't feel that my team instituted the confidence or enthusiasm to take on the project that they would have liked. And that's extremely disappointing because that's never happened to me. And I've never heard that objection before in the last 8 years of doing business. And so it really impacted me personally because it basically told me that there was a culture issue happening within the organization. And something happened throughout our process, whether it's the salesperson not having that enthusiasm on the front end or our production team not instilling the confidence in how we would build a piece of technology for this client. Something was broken. So I addressed this with the team. I held a company-wide meeting. I voiced my displeasure in how unacceptable that type of response would be for a company of our stature and our reputation. And essentially what I did was I recused myself from the meeting after my presentation. And I said, I'd like for the team to get together and work through solutions here, because I need to know that I can trust the team I have in front of me to make the right decisions, to take on projects with enthusiasm. And I'm at your availability independently after the meeting. So I had left the meeting. Turns out the meeting went sideways. Right. The meeting went sideways because what was identified was the manager of this whole system got very, very defensive, did not take any responsibility, did not, he was pointing fingers and left the entire room, shell-shocked with, how inappropriate. There was no conflict resolution. There was no sort of net benefit to the result of like, hey, let's as a team work through this. So what happened was, this had come back to me. I spoke to the individual, the manager, who is no longer with the company now, because what we identified was he did not fit the culture, and he was not able to maintain the tasks and the responsibility of his title. And unfortunately, it took an example with a real life client, with a real team, to identify that this person who has been with us for a year and a half was elevated to a new role and was not able to maintain it. So the point is, you may think, even still on the front end, you're making the right decision with bringing on people. This person did not have or share the culture and the values in how our team is to approach new projects. And so they're no longer with the organization. And it's a significant title within the organization. So, however, moving forward, I think the lesson here is, if you are able to implement these values and really refine your search on who the right team players are, it's going to make your life easier. And although I got it wrong in that circumstance with that individual, I know for sure the next time what to look for, what not to look for, what things are really said on a resume and what they actually really mean, and just leveraging some of the platforms here that you have within the group to learn what those personality profiles would look like and what it means to your business, and so on and so forth. So that was probably a long-winded story there, but I felt it was relevant and it was topical because it literally happened this week, and it was fairly disappointing. But the point is, hiring, it's a very difficult and challenging exercise, but it's critically important to have the right team. And as entrepreneurs, you if you get to that position where you are onboarding, do everything in your power to hire slow, fire quick. I will make that advice. So that's all of the questions that I have here. I know we have a little bit of time left over, but I think that about covers it. I'm not sure if, oh, I do see a chat here. All right, just Daniel, Sean, Robin, thanks so much. I guess that's it. So this was really fun. I hope to do it again. If you need to contact me directly, hit me in the portal. My company is MVP Interactive. I'm James at MVP-interactive.com. Hope to talk to you soon. Have a great weekend, everyone. Bye.